Welcome to my journey through the Bible. We will be in Genesis 12, 1 through 20. This will just be pointing out some things about the chapter and showing some principles that we can apply to our everyday life. So, Abraham listened to God. When God told him to leave and go to Canaan, he went. When God told him to go to Egypt, he went. He didn't argue with God, he obeyed him. When we obey God, he is going to bless us. If we decide to fight him tooth and nail, we're probably going to hit some road bumps and run into some obstacles that will cause us a little bit of pain, a little bit of suffering, until we get refocused and do what God has asked us to do. Another thing that I would point out is God told Abraham that all the land of Canaan was going to belong to his seed. Remember, at this time, Sarah could not have children. They didn't have any children. And Abraham still trusted God. God knew the future. He knew what was going to happen down the road. Today, sometimes we want to know what our future holds, and we make choices banking on what we think is going to happen in the future. Sometimes what we do in the moment is going to affect what happened down the road. So it's easier to take one step at a time instead of trying to jump a whole mile ahead. Abraham also built an altar to God. Abraham was regularly praying and worshiping and built in an altar. The altar was just a set of stones that he placed together and a monument to worship God. That's no different than us today when we go to church and we do communion, or we go there and we worship and we pray and we celebrate and we're thankful for the things that God gave us or is giving us. Sometimes we go and we fall on our face and we pray for God's help for what is to come, for what we know we're about to face. We ask for his strength. That is what I suspect that Abraham did. He would pray for what God told him to do. He would pray before he took action, and he prayed after taking action. So we can definitely learn from those lessons for our life. Another thing I would like to point out is I think the famine was a test. God told Abraham to leave and go to Canaan. Canaan was a promised land, but that's not where he stayed. God told him to move to Egypt because of the famine. Abraham listened, so he passed that test. Now, in the process, did he make some bad choices? Yeah. He lied and said that Sarah was his sister. This lie compounded the consequences. He did it for fair, but now a whole nation was plagued because of that lie, or that half lie. So we have to realize that when we do things, we say things, those actions don't only apply to us, it affects others around us, our children, our friends, our family. And you can say all day long, hey, I've conquered this. If this came about, this is what I would do, and this is how I would handle it. But a lot of times when you find yourself in that situation, you don't always handle it quite like you were saying you were going to. So that's why we have tests. We have tests so that we can grow stronger. We can grow stronger in our faith with God. We learn to lean on him and to pray, hey, let me get through this situation. Let me get through this trial. Let me learn my lesson. If we can learn our lesson the first go around, we most likely are not going to have to repeat that same trial and that same obstacle course again. God has a way of testing us so that we can grow and we can develop. So I guess my advice would be, try to learn your lesson the first time so you don't have to continuously repeat it.